Alright, everybody. Todd here. With another fantasy football draft. Got 7 minutes to go until the neighborhood league that I'm in starts on ESPN. Looks like I got the 6th pick out of 14. So we're going to see how this goes. Right now, 6 minutes left. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people auto-drafting at the moment. It's not the greatest in the world, but at least you know who's going to get picked and whatnot. Oh, shoot. ESPN allow you to look at the pick history. Man, I don't think it allows you to look at who's got what type of thing, but maybe I can just go in here and go, okay, Stroning, they have such and such. Homie, where's Homie? 1, 2, 3, 4. Straight cash, Homie. I can at least look that way. Hopefully figure out what's going on. Don't like that ESPN doesn't show you the draft board separated by colors, which Yahoo does, which would be nice, but not the end of the world, I guess. But we'll find out how this goes. $50 buy-in, you better ask. I feel like we just lost another one. 1, 2, 3, 4 now. Auto drafting with 5 minutes left. Just to alert you guys, there is a bad storm moving through right now, which I hope my internet and stuff does not cut out, but it's certainly possible that it might. And if that happens, I'm really boned on this draft because I forgot my phone at work. And I wouldn't be able to draft from my phone either, so cross your fingers that we don't have that happen. I also want to make sure my house doesn't flood because we've gotten about 6 inches, 7 inches of rain in the last couple of days. All right, minute to go. Minute to win it, folks. My draft strategy here, I just hope that my neighbors aren't watching my stream here, is basically to, I guess, select best player available, but I do want to lock up running backs early as possible. So pick 6, I'm definitely going to be taking a running back. And God, what pick do I have on? Can I scroll? No. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23rd pick. I'll probably be looking for either like a Jordan Howard or Devonta Freeman, potentially, if one of those two falls to me. And we'll go from there. This is a Minnesota league, so I expect some of those people to kind of go quick. Oh my gosh, don't even tell me work is paging me. Nope. Battery's running out. Woo! All right, I like that. All right. Todd Gurley, #1 overall. Not a bad pick. It was full point PPR. I think every other stat is pretty similar except for defense, where it's 10 yards per point rushing and receiving. Obviously 1 point per reception, and then 25 for passing. Who am I going to take with pick number 6? Probably Saquon. Or Zeke. If Zeke falls to me, I'd be very surprised. But this is my first draft I've been doing on ESPN. Zeke, I saw that Travis Frederick potentially going to play through his. He's got some nerve autoimmune disease that attacks his nerves in his hand, so they place him on. Alright, Zeke went, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to take Saquon Barkley. I think he's going to have tons of volume, and I mean, you can't go against those quads. He's 100% now, according to everything he's practicing this week. His hamstring should no longer be an issue, and the dude can receive, so bam, definitely taking Barkley. And we'll see who I get on my way back. I'm going to hope for, I mean, I could potentially do a Christian McCaffrey. I don't see him getting tons of rushing yards, but he is going to be a receiving monster. And the offensive coordinator over there is Norv Turner, and 26 years of history will tell you that dude rides one running back, so I'm not too concerned about C.J. Anderson over there. Stealing a lot of stuff from McCaffrey. I know McCaffrey's a little bit smaller, maybe can't run through the tackles as well as C.J. Anderson, but I could see McCaffrey surprising a lot of people with his workload just because the offensive coordinator over there, Norv Turner, is historically one that just rides one running back the entire time. So, but yeah, I could either have, let's see what happens with the Q. He's in my queue. I don't know what happens. Maybe it pops up later. Q and Gronk comes back to me. Probably not in a 14-team league. And then Jordan Howard. I think those guys are going to get lots of volume. Joe Mixon. I thought that dude would just be amazing coming out of college, but he has not produced anything. He had like 1.8 yards per attempt in the preseason, so that makes me shy away from him as well. Oh, man. It won't tell me who is on. They don't have a draft board, which is super annoying, which gives you a view of everybody and who they picked or how many they have of each position. That helps a ton when making decisions, especially later on when you're deciding, should I be drafting a tight end right now? Can I wait to draft this guy? What's it look like for my tiers and whatnot? Speaking of that, I'm going to get the Ultimate Draft Kit pulled up here because I have a feeling I'm going to use it. I'm not super familiar with the 14-team format here, so I'm going to get in here and full PPR and pull up wide receivers. That work? Rankings. Running back. I'm pretty familiar with the tight ends, but I'm going to pull them up too. And these guys should be tiered, and that can also help me pick on some of my stuff. So who has gone off the board since I picked Barkley right after me? Odell Beckham Jr. went. Another running back, Alvin Kamara, Super Camario, not exactly sure how you pronounce his name. Then DeAndre Hopkins, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, pick number 11. It is a Minnesota league, so I can understand that, but I'd much rather have Kareem Hunt in that position over Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook's going to get sniped by Latavius Murray, but just being a Minnesota fan, I actually watched the third or fourth preseason game, and they had Rick Spielman, the GM for the Vikings, on there, and basically he was saying that they're not going to lean on Kirk Cousins right away to begin the season while he learns the offensive system and whatnot, so they're not going to put too much pressure on Cousins to carry the team or anything. So I think Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray are going to get a huge workload in the first 4 or 5 weeks there. And watch out for Latavius Murray being a sneaky like DFS play in some of these games. I think he can score 2 or 3 touchdowns. It'll be Dalvin Cook getting most of the yardage, and then maybe he rips off a big play or something. They put Murray in with 5 yards to go, and Murray punches it in. I think that would be why I would shy away from Dalvin Cook, at least at the 11th pick there, more towards the second round for me. 14-team league even, so. Yeah, we'll see what running backs make it back to me. If Devonta Freeman or Jordan Howard are not there, I'll have to decide whether I want to take what's left of a wide receiver tier there. There's tons of wide receivers there. I feel like there's a big drop-off between some of these running backs. So do I take a Kenyon Drake, who's kind of in a tier lower than Barkley and some of these other guys, Fournette, McCaffrey, Kareem Hunt, Devonta Freeman, Joe Mixon, Jordan Howard. Yep, Drake's in that tier 4 category. I would have him there as well. So let's just hope Jordan Howard or Devonta Freeman fall to me with that pick. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more picks ahead of me. Let's hope neither of these two get picked this time, and my odds are going to be pretty good that one of them will at least be available. Normally, if I was picking like 24th overall, especially in a 12-teamer, I'd be looking at Rob Gronkowski 100% here, but that's a lot of draft capital to lose in a 14-team league when there's just not that many running backs that are viable. You got to start 2. I want 2 guys that are going to be playing a ton, so we'll do that. If Freeman and Howard are gone, I'm probably going to take Joe Mixon. Not super happy about that, but he is going to get, I think, a lot of volume there. McCoy I'd shy away from. He's old. So we'll see. Devonta Freeman. See you later. Hopefully nobody's a Chicago fan. Hopefully they're in love with Joe Mixon and LaShawn McCoy, if they are taking a running back. I'd reluctantly take Joe Mixon unless I have an A.J. Green there, and then I'd hope to hell that Kenyon Drake or somebody in that tier would fall to me. Kenyon Drake, Alex Collins, Royce Freeman, actually a pretty solid pick there. I think he's going to be really good, and I might be able to play the waiver wires there. But we'll see. I think there's a lot of wide receiver ability later, a lot of wide receiver talent that you can get later. Worst case scenario, Jordan Howard and Mixon are gone. I would probably take an AJ Green if he's sitting there, and then go. I doubt Kenyon Drake would make it all the way back around 12 more picks, but at that stage, I'd probably be looking at either Alex Collins or Royce Freeman to fill that RB2 spot, and then hopefully I can find somebody later on, like Mark Ingram, who's going to fall just because he's suspended, or Mike Gillislee late, because I think the first 4 weeks that dude's going to be amazing. Well, there goes AJ Green. 2 more picks in front of me, please. Let's look at what Garnett has got going on for him. He already picked a running back. That's good, I guess. Portner probably going to take a running back. We'll find out. Rob Gronkowski. All right. Come on, Jordan Howard. Worst case scenario, take a Joe Mixon here. I wouldn't be thrilled having him as my RB2, but that could be worse. I mean, I think he's going to get some workload, but I just don't trust. I thought the talent was there, and it just seems like he cannot produce behind whatever line that they have there. So, if Jordan Howard falls here, to me, I'd have him in basically every single league that I am in this year. So, I'd be all right with that. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to have a lot more than 1,000 yards rushing. I think he's going to be up in the 1,200, 1,300 range and close to 9, 10 touchdowns. And I'd put him down for like 35 receptions. Frick! Jordan Howard taken. Not too happy about that, but I think I'm going to take Joe Mixon here. I don't really like the wide receivers in particular at this range, so I'm going to get my next running back, which will be Joe Mixon. And then next time around, I'm probably, depending on what it looks like, I'm going to take Royce Freeman. And then I'll have my 3 running backs locked up, and I can start drafting some wide receivers from there. Yeah, it was kind of frustrating seeing Jordan Howard there picked right before me. So close. But that's all right. I got Joe Mixon. I don't think he's got quite the ceiling that Jordan Howard does this year. At least what I've seen in the preseason and last year. Pedestrian numbers, but you never know. Maybe last year was just a fluke. I think he was injured somewhat or something at the beginning of last year where it just didn't quite work out right. And they had Jeremy Hill and other people in front of him. So Joe Mixon should get the workload. I get concerned about the talent they're actually producing. Seems like Giovanni Bernard outproduced Joe Mixon last year, even late, when they were both, healthy and going. It seemed like Giovanni Bernard was still out producing him in terms of like yards per contact, or yards after contact, yards per carry, etc., etc. So I don't know. It makes me nervous with Joe Mixon as my RB2, but we'll see. If I can land a Royce Freeman on my way back, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more picks, I would be ecstatic. I think I would have my running back crew locked up. I'm going to put him in queue, and then I'll just wait for whatever running backs or wide receivers are available with my next couple picks, because going running back with your first 3 picks in a 14-team league, you're going to be down there as far as what kind of receivers you can get. I did get Saquon Barkley. I think he has blow-up potential week in and week out. Joe Mixon, not necessarily. I think Joe Mixon's going to be your steady, 10 to 12 point per week, and maybe once in a while I'll give you a nice big week. But if I can get that Royce Freeman, I think he does have potential to he's not going to give you 10 or 12 points every week. I think he's going to be more up and down, especially early with Devonta Booker probably splitting reps and like having 2-minute drills and stuff that he's probably not as familiar with compared to Devonta Booker there. So I don't think early on he's going to be quite used as much as we would like, or an owner would like, but I'm definitely going to take him here ahead of a Tyreek Hill and everything else, just because he's the next running back on the list. But if we look on here, Royce Freeman is in that tier 4. No way he's getting back to me. And I have all these wide receivers basically in the same tier for me. Tyreek Hill, very good pick for Team Stroning. But we're going to take Royce Freeman, third pick right there. He's going into my flex. Rolling with my homies. So he's in my flex. I'm pretty much set at running back, at least in my mind. Don't like that these two have a bye in the same week, but it's not the end of the world. Royce Freeman can fill in there if needed. If I still have all those guys on my on my team at that point, and they're healthy and stuff, week 9 I can fill in another running back that I can pick up at some point during the waiver wire pickups. Some running back always comes out of nowhere to produce, top 20, top 12 even year. So we'll see. Got my running backs lined up now. So I got Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Royce Freeman, and then I'm just going to start adding some running backs that I want to look at late. Carlos Hyde might go way down. Peyton Barber would be a solid pick. Kerryon Johnson, Rashad Penny. Oh, average ADP 104. I could get Rashad Penny really late. There's actually a lot of value here in these running backs really late, which is kind of nice. Rob Kelly. Who was I looking for? Gillislee. He's a guy that I might take really late. Like Gillislee. First 4 weeks, he could be a tremendous value. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time those first 4 weeks in the goal line in short yardage situations for the Saints, and I figure them to be pretty good. So, yeah, we'll see. Looks like I got a few picks to go before. Looks like only one person was taken after I picked here so far as T.Y. Hilton. Is that really true? Did my internet go out? Round 3 of 14. Garnett. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll see what goes on here. I'm going to start taking some wide receivers, I believe, and then we'll see what goes on. Guys that I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is where I wish I could see how many running backs and stuff were taken. It'd be nice to have a draft board. Pick history. Damn. I can see. Draft board is not there, which is kind of annoying. Come on, ESPN. At this point, you have to have a draft board. So, wide receivers, guys that I would be all right with that aren't going to get back to me as my wide receiver ones. Right there. Let's see what Doug Baldwin news. Play week 1, but he also acknowledges knee injury is something that will require management throughout the season. That's a little nerve-wracking. He could be really good, though. Ooh. That wide receiver crew looks really thin. alright, though. That's what happens when you take 3 running backs with your first 3 picks in a 14-team league. So, yeah, we'll just see if we can land one of those 3 receivers. I'd be perfectly fine with that, as having those guys as my number 1 wide receiver in a full-point PPR system. I think Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry both are probably going to have pretty solid years. Jarvis Landry, 89 receptions. I think that's going to be a little low. I think he's going to be well over 100. I don't think their offense is going to be that bad this year. And what's that? Starting a new round? Must be Finey. Yep. So there goes Jarvis Landry. Doug Baldwin off. Just perfectly fine. Chris Hogan, I really hope that's the guy that falls to me. I think he could have a blow-up first 4 weeks, especially with Edelman gone. Where is he going? Round 89. I'm going to queue him up too. He's quite a ways down there. Yep. That's alright. Yeah, without that draft board there, it's really annoying. It would be really helpful for my tight end picks on when to pick them in a 14-team league. Certainly a position I might be able to punt. There's some guys really late that I could probably get, like a Gesicki from Miami. I could get Nick Vannett from Seattle, or Ricky Seals-Jones. David Njoku, probably not going to fall to me necessarily. Chris Hogan taken. That's all right. Golden Tate, I guess I'd be all right with him as a wide receiver 1. I just know he's going to give you a steady, 5 or 6 catches and 60 yards like every single week. So, considering I have the 3 running backs locked up, a solid week in and week out wide receiver would not be a bad choice. Josh Gordon, he could be a huge bust. He might give you weeks with 2 or 3 catches for 30, 40 yards, and you'd be kind of left holding the bag there. So, let's find out. Portner, what do they got? 2 wide receivers, so he's going to go running back almost certainly, which is good for me. God, there goes Ingram. All right, that's fine. Gannett, tight end, wide receiver, running back. He's probably going to go running back. He's already got 2 wide receivers, so I could get a Golden Tate. Or do I go Josh Gordon? Considering my current roster construction, and I took those 3 wide receivers, this is kind of where you start making your decisions based off your current roster construction. I have no wide receivers. It would be super risky to take Josh Gordon as my first wide receiver. I think he's going to have a good year, but do I want to take somebody with a little bit higher risk as far as what they can produce with my first wide receiver pick, or do I want to take a Golden Tate who I think week in and week out is just going to give you steady, nice numbers? Maybe it won't give you the touchdown total that somebody like a Josh Gordon will, but yeah, it remains to be seen. A lot of these people, too, maybe are already wide receiver heavy. So Stronig, already got a couple of wide receivers. Straight cash homie. No wide receiver. No, he's got 1 wide receiver, so he's probably going to take somebody. Riggleman, got a wide receiver and a tight end. Klein, already 2 wide receivers. So these guys might not even be taking Josh Gordon. That remains to be seen. So maybe I'll take that Golden Tate and then hope on the way back I can get the Josh Gordon with people either not wanting to take the risk on him or already having 2 wide receivers and not going that route. So if Golden Tate's there, probably going to take him and hope for the best, at least hope for that steady production that you would assume out of a Golden Tate versus a Josh Gordon. Juju Smith-Schuster, sweet. So this guy shouldn't take a wide receiver. I should be able to get Golden Tate. And they don't have a tight end over there, so I think Golden Tate's just going to get even more peppered with targets, and I don't know. I could see them being in more shootouts too. I'm not exactly impressed with their defense this year, so I'll cross my fingers on the Golden Tate, and then see what we get on the way back. Not gonna be disappointed if I get an Emmanuel Sanders or anybody like that either. So, ooh, Evan Ingram's still there. Marquise Goodwin. Maybe it's gonna be Marquise Greatwin this year. Still some value there. I want to get a solid wide receiver there with my number 1 pick. If Golden Tate goes here, which I doubt because they have 2 wide receivers already, probably deciding what running back they want to take. I would go Marshawn Lynch personally for them, but Lamar Miller could be a solid pick if Houston's defense is good this year. Are they? Yeah, go with Marshawn Lynch. Got the Golden Tate. I'm going to draft him. And just cross my fingers that Josh Gordon gets back to me with my next pick. I don't think he will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more picks. Top wide receiver listed on there, so I don't see him sticking around, but I was blown away in my keeper league, which is people that are really passionate about fantasy football, and it's an auction draft. He only went for like $7 in the auction draft, and I was very surprised at that. I thought he was going to go for 30 or 40, so people probably aren't as high on him as I am, obviously, so be interesting. Anyway, if he's not available with the next pick, I'll probably head over to Emmanuel Sanders. He's another guy that's kind of just steady Eddie all the time, and he has still blow up potential. The dude's older than you think. He's like 32 or 34, but I think he's still got some solid tread in those tires. Last year, playing with some bad quarterbacks, I think that was part of his demise as far as statistics are concerned. So, yeah, who else do I have in my queue here? Good one. Evan Ingram. I'm not going to take those guys that quick, especially when I can get my man Trey Boo Boo. Trey Burton is my guy this year. I think I'm trying to own him in every single league that I have. That dude I firmly believe is going to be a top 4 tight end this year, and he's being drafted about the number 8 or 10, somewhere in that range, tight end off the board. So people losing out there big time. Here goes the quarterback run. You don't want to be on the tail end of these quarterback runs, but I could easily see people trying to set the panic button now. Ooh, Cam Newton went, Deshaun Watson went, so they're going to start saying, oh shit, I need to grab a quarterback. So they're going to be like, ooh, who do I want? There ain't much for quarterbacks left. Anyway, it's pretty sad. Drew Brees is still on there. Robert Woods just picked up. Yeah, worst case scenario, I just run out a Sam Bradford. I think he's going to be just fine this year. He is injury prone, but at that point you just pick up Josh Rosen. I don't think anybody's going to have him on the roster. Lamar Miller is going. So far, so good on the Josh Gordon. I got 3 more picks, which is kind of one of those hope and pray where I took Golden Tate assuming people might not want the Josh Gordon question mark on their team. Yeah, there he goes. I just need to talk about these people going, and then boop, see you later. There they go. Corey Davis is somebody that's got a lot of upside. I just don't know. Their offenses look terrible in the preseason. Emmanuel Sanders versus Corey Davis is kind of one of those where you go in here. Corey Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, Corey Davis, Marquise Goodwin, Emmanuel Sanders down here. What do I do? Probably take the Corey Davis and hope Marquise Goodwin comes back to me. Corey Davis, I believe, has a bigger upside for sure. I don't know. I think Emmanuel Sanders is kind of that slot receiver over there in Denver, and he's looked. Keenum made Thielen look really good out of the slot last year. Do I take Corey Davis? Corey Davis can be more up and down. Emmanuel Sanders going to be more of a steady Eddie. These guys are pretty much predicted to do the exact same thing. Corey Davis slightly higher overall points. Not exactly sure if they're predicting 4 less yards and 1 more and the same amount of receiving touchdowns, how he's that much higher. But looking at my bye weeks, probably don't want to add in another person on week 10, so I have these guys kind of in the same tier. He would be the safer pick because I think he's going to be a better week-to-week play, but Corey Davis has the upside, and we'll hope that Marquise Goodwin comes to me with the next pick. That was pick 62. All right, so right now we're rolling with starting rosters. Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, and Royce Freeman as my running backs. Got Royce Freeman in the flex spot there. Feel like he's more of my RB2, and Joe Mixon would be the flex on my team right now. Golden Tate, the steady Eddie wide receiver. Corey Davis, fingers crossed that he ends up being a solid contributor. Not sold on that being the case, but I don't know. That's why wide receivers kind of, you can get a lot of depth value out of the receivers. There's a lot of receivers that get 60, 70 receptions for 600, 700 yards and, a handful of touchdowns every single year. So if I don't get it from Corey Davis, I don't get that blow-up year, I'll probably have somebody else that I draft that does just fine. So, man, Julian Edelman is somebody I could pick up late too. Just more wide receiver depth. When he comes back, he'd be a solid play. Kerryon Johnson's another guy that I could be looking at. Rashad Penny, definitely somebody I want on my team. I think he's going to have a pretty solid workload. By the end of the year, he'll be their number 1 running back. Yeah, I don't know. Chris Godwin. Yeah, we're going to look at Marquise Goodwin and just hope that he does something big this year. So I'm going to place him on my queue. And then Sammy Watkins is still there. I don't know. I didn't see much out of preseason from that dude. So we'll see where these guys got Watkins. This is updated all the time. So Watkins. Got Watkins in tier 6. With Robbie Anderson, Cooper Kupp, Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Crabtree, Nelson Aguilar, Pierre Garçon, Sterling Shepard, Keenan Cole, Kelvin Benjamin. And the other guy is Goodwin, if he's available. Where do they have Goodwin? Goodwin, they have tier 5. So I think we would go Goodwin if it comes to it. We'll see. I got a lot of time between those picks. Oh, there goes Goodwin. So see you later, buddy. Tight ends. Evan Ingram still available. Concussion. Yeah. I don't trust him. He's not. I think he's going to regress a little bit from last year. I think they're going to have a better offense, but they got Odell Beckham Jr. back. They got Barkley in a running game now, so I think he's back there. Damn, they really have Jack Doyle ranked ahead of Trey Burton. That is criminal. Trey Burton will have 70 to 85 receptions, 700 to 900 yards, and 8 touchdowns this year. Mark it down. I'm not going to lose any sleep if he's not there, because I'm going to take a Mike Gesicki, a Ricky Seals-Jones, or Nick Vanette. Real late if I need to. Just hope I don't lose my internet now, because it can be taking a bunch of tight ends and crappy other people. And I don't have my phone on me, so there goes Emmanuel Sanders, gone. These two guys that I kind of wanted there. It's all right. Alshon Jeffrey. Julian Edelman. Sterling Shepard. All solid players left. Show drafted quarterbacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 quarterbacks taken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tight ends taken. I'm probably going to have to take my round 7 pick is going to be Trey Burton. Just because I think there's going to be a tight end run at some point pretty soon. And I really think that guy is going to be a top 4 player. So I think I'm going to pick my 3rd wide receiver, get that tight end, and then go from there. God, do I really want to punt? Gesicki could be good in Miami. They're going to be a bad team. He could be getting a lot of receptions. Jarvis Landry left. We'll see. Top 4 tight end versus somebody that's probably going to be, I don't know what the difference is between Gesicki and Burton. End of year could be pretty close. But Trey Burton's going to produce the way I think he's going to produce. Round 7 pick on him wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Get in before that tight end run happens. Let's find out who I'm going to get here with my next pick. Sammy Watkins, Alshon Jeffrey, Julian Edelman. What do we got? Orliter, got Kitsunami. There goes Edelman, which is fine. This guy's got 2 wide receivers taken already. He's got a tight end already. Granite's 2 wide receivers already. Portner, 2 wide receivers already. 3 running backs. 3 running backs. Jordan Howard, Marshawn Lynch. What? Oh, that's me. That's me, not them. Yeah, it doesn't update, so. What's the scoop on him? Barber gone. Where do they have Aguilar? Tier 6. Jeffrey. Tier 7. I think I'm going to take myself a Sammy Watkins. Stronig, does he have a tight end? Yes. 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 New. No. Some of these people are going, like a Peyton Barber, he went well ahead of his average draft position. Excuse me. Will Fuller went. I'm hoping these guys don't take a wide receiver, but they might. Hoping they take a backup running back. Tevin Coleman still out there. Evan Ingram, tight end. I could take Evan Ingram. Sammy Watkins goes. I don't know. Might take a Sterling Shepard. Alshon Jeffrey. Devin Funchess, where do they have him? Alright, well, Sammy Watkins was not taken, so we'll take him. Well, I like the way that team's shaping up here. If Sammy Watkins produces, could be good. Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Golden Tate, Corey Davis, Royce Freeman in my flex, and then Sammy Watkins on my bench at the moment. Take that. 14-team league, it's rough. As far as streaming a defense is concerned, it's a little bit more difficult than a 14-team league. I don't think very many people are going to have a backup because there's only 5 bench spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't think I'll have to necessarily worry about that. But I don't think I'm going to draft a kicker just because you can stream those guys no matter what. Defenses I'm kind of targeting, and Baltimore still happens to be there. They're going to have an amazing week 1. Saints probably won't be there because their defense was pretty decent last year. But I'll be looking at them. Saints, Baltimore, or Detroit. Detroit's got a good week 1 matchup. There goes Rashad Penny. See you later, buddy. What week bye does week 6 Kerryon Johnson? Kerryon Johnson, somebody that I could have on my team, stash him and wait for him to get good. Something I might do later on. Just the way the people have been drafting here, I don't foresee him getting back to me. I think I'm going to take Portner doesn't have a tight end yet. Garnett's has one. Kutswami has one. Willarder does not. Schroeder does not. Stotts does. Gunderson does not. Finey does. So there's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 people that don't have tight ends. So this pick would be the one where I'm going to take the tight ends. All these guys, I think, already have tight ends, so it should be good there. Next pick's probably going to be Trey Burton here. I don't feel like punting, and I'm not like super huge fan of any of the wide receivers in this spot. I'm not super happy with any of these running backs necessarily, other than maybe Kerryon Johnson. James White would be a solid pick just in a PPR league. So, and some of these people have some sort of upside or flex play ability, and if somebody goes down, they're going to be pretty good. But yeah. So I think I'll take my Trey Burton with the next pick, and then pick up some other people later on. Last pick will probably be Mike Gillislee. I don't think anybody's going to take him in between now and the end of the draft, and he could be a really solid contributor for the first couple of weeks. And go the quarterback run. Not too concerned about that. I'll stream quarterbacks if needed. Should be somebody out there at all times. Even if everybody takes 2, there's going to be 4 starting quarterbacks still available somewhere out there. A Trey Boo Boo. Stronach have a tight end. Yeah, Jimmy Graham. So yeah, Trey Burton will be my next pick, and then I have to go to the bathroom. So, oh, somebody's already taking the kicker. Oh, jeez. Draft Trey Boo Boo. All right. I like my team, getting some of the guys I want. Really, if I had Jordan Howard, be about the only guy, or instead of Corey Davis, I have a Josh Gordon there, but it's not the end of the world. Only 2 picks since I last picked. Dang. People taking forever. Sorry about chewing into the microphone. Look at how many quarterbacks have been drafted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I might be the only one that has not taken a quarterback yet. I'm not taking one. Garnets is also not taking one. Schroeder, Garnet, Schroeder, Stotts. So there's all 3 of these. So let's see if they take quarterbacks in round 8. If they don't, I don't need to, and I can get a pick in round 9 for my quarterback, which would probably be a Matthew Stafford. Worst case scenario, all those guys go. I roll with the Jared Goff. Could be worse. Let's actually look up quarterback. Matt Stafford. Wentz, Luck, Roethlisberger. Actually, Mariota might be a pick. Jared Goff would be alright. First round pick. I'll go with Sterling Shepard. Looking for solid week 1 matchups. I like Stafford. I got a solid week 1 matchup. I'd also like to grab Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's got Vikings week 1 if he was available. Mariota's got a good matchup week 1. So I might just punt on the old quarterback. And people are already picking defenses? Unreal. Huh. Here goes the defense run. What am I going to take with this pick? There goes Carlos Hyde. Kerryon Johnson. Almost certainly will be my pick if he gets to me. That guy. I really should pick Jordy Nelson here with this pick, but I don't want somebody to get in a late steal with Kerryon Johnson. So I'm going to draft him if he's there. James White could have a huge first couple weeks here with Edelman gone. I think James White's going to see a massive workload. I could potentially turn that into some trade bait later on. I'm not going to take a quarterback unless Stafford's available with this 118th pick. I take Kerryon Johnson if he's there this round, just because he's a stash guy that's going to be really good to finish the season out. So I'm going to take him and wait for that role to develop. Maybe get rid of a Joe Mixon at some point, or trade him for somebody else. Marlon Mack. Come on, Portner. Do not snipe me again. Yeah, they're going to go tight end. Maybe not. That's a weak tight end spot. Njoku. If he takes Kerryon Johnson, I might just go Jordy Nelson here. But let's hope he doesn't go Kerryon Johnson, because I need that week 10, week 9 bye week covered. So by week 9, Kerryon Johnson should be pretty solid. So here's the hoping. Come on, partner. You guys take the full 90 seconds each time. Hey, there we go. Kerryon Johnson. Thank you very much. Just won the draft. Just messing with you guys. My wide receiver core is severely lacking. Golden Tate, Corey Davis, Sammy Watkins, risky, even more risky. I'll probably be taking a quarterback next. What do I have? I'm gonna remove these tight ends. I don't need them on my board anymore. I'm taking a backup tight end, that's for sure. And then Gillisley is going to be the last pick that I have. Oh man, everybody's taking kickers and defense. That's what I like to see. Still quite a few people behind me with this pick that don't have a quarterback yet, so I'm going to take my Matthew Stafford with the next pick. As you saw in here, he's way up here in the tier 3. Still available. I agree. He's one of the top. I would have him above Deshaun Watson and maybe Drew Brees this year. Drew Brees, I don't know if they're going to lean on him as much as they used to because they got a running game that's solid and a good defense. But we'll see. I'm going to take that Matt Stafford. He's got a good week 1 matchup. And then we'll see what my bench and stuff looks like because I might want to stream some people when Stafford plays the Vikings, or if Chicago defense ends up being really, really good. I might want to stream a quarterback those weeks instead of playing Stafford. I certainly don't want to play Stafford against the Vikings. Take a peek at my dashboard. There goes the Rams defense. Kelvin Benjamin, Latavius Murray, Jordy Nelson went. Stats, 1 viewer. Tell me how many viewers have been in here. Chat has not done anything. Alrighty. Does it make me nervous having Kerryon Johnson and Golden Tate? Not necessarily. I mean, those two can have standalone value. And I think Kerryon Johnson... Ooh, Stafford. Straight cash homie. Stafford's gone. I'm probably going to punt on the old quarterback. I'm probably going to go either a Jared Goff or a Mariota on that first week, and I don't foresee those guys getting picked up necessarily. Worst case scenario, take a Sam Bradford, which I don't think is going to be gone. So now I got to figure out what I want to do with this next pick. Is there any wide receivers that I like? Not necessarily. Doxson Stills might be alright. John Ross, Gallup, Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills. Tier 7. I have a Danny Amendola, Tier 7. Alan Hearns, Kelvin Benjamin. Keenan Cole, I have a Tier 6. He is available. Could be a potential pick there. Otherwise, running backs. James White, Gio Bernard, Theo Riddick. Jordan Wilkins. Supposed to be the starter. James White, I think, is going to have a solid start to the year, so I'm going to draft him. Those wide receivers, I think, will be back to me by the time it comes back. These guys are all kind of in the same tier. Rashard Matthews, I like, but I don't want him on my team considering I already have Corey Davis. Calvin Ridley could be solid. John Brown's the number 2 wide receiver there. Cortland Sutton, somebody I could certainly pick up. Or Ryan Grant, Mike Williams. These are all kind of, you know, 3rd, 4th wide receivers on my team, so it's not that big of a deal. You're not necessarily counting on these people to give you a ton of production, so probably look at either an Amendola or Keenan Cole and just hope Keenan Cole hits. Or Kenny Stills if he's there, but I don't know. He's the number 2 wide receiver right now on the list. I don't know if he's going to be around by the time it gets back to me, so I won't worry about it too much. It is 9 o'clock. It's getting a little late for me to get back to work. Did just move to auto draft, so hopefully it's a little better next time. There goes some tight ends off the board. Let's see what I got on my team right now. Quarterback is empty. Not too concerned about that at this point. I didn't get my Matt Stafford pick last round. He went like 2 picks before that. Somebody I could have kept season long, which I would have been thrilled getting that late in the draft. But now at this stage, like I don't want any of these guys long term. Garoppolo maybe is the only one that I would like season long, or that I would have any sort of faith in season long. But also he's got a bad week 1 matchup against the Vikings, so it's not somebody that I'm going to draft regardless, even if he's the last person still there at the last pick. I'm probably looking somebody more like a Andy Dalton, who's got Indianapolis indoor in the Dome at Indy week 1. Jared Goff, I believe, is playing the Raiders week 1, and they just lost Khalil Mack, so don't have to worry about that. Mariota's got Miami week 1. Miami's not very good. The only problem with that is they might be running the ball a lot, because I think Tennessee's going to be up, but they haven't looked the greatest in the preseason, so not a big fan there. Patrick Mahomes got a bad week 1 matchup against the Chargers. They got a good defense, so who did the Giants play week 1? Tell me on here. Let me look quick. New York Giants schedule. Giants play the Jaguars week 1, so Eli not an option. Bradford against Washington would be, last resort, but I'll probably be looking at either a Jared Goff or a Mariota would be my top 2 picks. Andy Dalton, if he's still there. Ryan Tannehill potentially against Tennessee defense that did not look very good in the preseason. That'd be where I'm looking at. Derek Carr, no thanks, not against the Rams. Keenum against, who's Denver playing? Who's Denver playing week 1? Rival. Playing Seahawks. One of those other guys will be available. Not too worried about the quarterback situation there. So I'm going to punt on the quarterback for at least another couple rounds. I'm going to try to find some wide receiver depth, because right now my wide receiver core, I went running back early. So I got Barkley, Mixon, and Freeman in my first 3 rounds of a 14-team league. So solid running backs there. But I did give up, the ability to have decent wide receivers in doing so. So I have Golden Tate as my number 1 wide receiver. Could be worse, but considering I needed to get points from that wide receiver 1, he's a guy week in and week out. He's giving you 4 to 8 receptions, pretty much guaranteed. Doesn't really get injured ever. And the only problem with him is he doesn't really score touchdowns. But who are they going to throw to? Galladay for a touchdown? Maybe. I don't know. Their tight ends are terrible, so I don't think I can't even remember how many red zone targets that Ebron got last year. Way more than he obviously ended up catching, but he's not there anymore. I don't think the wide receivers outside of Galladay and Marvin Jones are going to be doing, anything for touchdowns. And those guys are definitely touchdown threats, so they're a little bit bigger. But tight ends are terrible there. I don't see them getting very many red zone targets, so it could be the Theo Riddick and Golden Tate are getting more looks inside the 10 and whatnot, and they're just going to get a little bit more creative with Jim Bob Cooter and the plays that they call in the red zone, considering they don't have the big red zone threat tight ends there. I don't foresee Luke Wilson or any of their other tight end group filling that sort of role there. So, he could be a solid number 1 guy, considering I was picking a wide receiver the first time in the first round. So that's why I went with him. He's going to give you steady production there, which is what I needed out of my first pick since it was so late. Corey Davis, I think he's going to be a bit more up and down, but he does have a ceiling that's a little bit higher if that Tennessee offense starts clicking with Matt LaFleur there. Supposed to be good, but they look terrible in the preseason. I was a little nervous taking Corey Davis there, and then I have Sammy Watkins as my 3rd wide receiver, and then Kerryon Johnson, James White as my other bench players right now. So need to get a little bit better wide receiver depth there. I don't think Kenny Stills is available anymore. Nope. So I don't know who I'm going to take. Who's the number 2 wide receiver? Could take a Traquan Smith. He'll be available way late, though. Galladay, I don't trust. Amendola would be an alright pick. DJ Moore has opportunity. So here it goes. Who do I take with my wide receiver depth? Calvin Ridley could be a solid option. He looked good in the preseason. They had week 1 matchup, which is fine. Cortland Sutton, I believe, is going to be solid. Got the rookie wide receivers now kind of there. Which one do I pick? They're all kind of in the same tier. Ridley, shoot. He could be good. What's it say over here? Suited up. Unclear. Rest of health, their first rounder. Up and down during the preseason. 5 hits. Julio and Muhammad and Bez, the top 2 wideouts. Okay, we'll pass on him. Chris Godwin, something I've been hearing. The starter, Godwin, he's got plenty of run in the contest. I don't know. Who do I go? I think DJ Moore's probably got the best opportunity out of all these people for targets. So probably go DJ Moore here and cross our fingers that he ends up hitting with that wide receiver group that's there. On the clock, so round 11 of 14, I got 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 4 more picks. One of them's got to be a quarterback. Don't necessarily need to take a kicker. Defense, I might punt on. Let's see what we got for defense left. Show drafted 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 defenses taken. Were the Detroit Lions way down? Yeah, they're way down there. They got a good week 1 matchup. Who are they playing? I don't remember. It's on Monday night. Lions schedule. Taking on the Jets. That's a solid defensive play there. Darnold, the rookie, could be really good. I just hope they don't torch Detroit at Detroit. I don't see that happening. So Baltimore is definitely somebody that I'd want on my team for week 1. Do I want to blast a draft pick on them? Not necessarily, but they could have a huge week 1. We could see what else we got. 4 wide receivers here to draft. Rashard Matthews is somebody I think is going to have a solid year, but I already have Corey Davis, so I don't want to necessarily draft him. Kind of want to hedge my bets. Ryan Grant could be a solid guy. Grant and Chester Rogers have the same number of snaps in offense, not necessarily clear how much playing time. By all accounts, Grant won the number 2 receiver role in training camp, but had just 1 reception in 3 preseason games. Not the end of the world. Terrence Williams. Traquan Smith. Smith is arguably done by Cameron Meredith, who got 72 yards and a touchdown on 2 games. Well, who do we want to take? Is there a running back yet? Jordan Wilkins. We'll pass on that guy. I'm going to take Mike Gillislee, actually, with the very last pick, just because I think he's actually going to produce quarterbacks. I guess I didn't see what's been going. So I have Mariota available. If I want to punt that, I could pick Dalton or somebody week 1. I'm probably going to do. I just need a little bit better wide receiver depth. Amendola potentially is going to fill the Jarvis Landry slot, so I'm just going to take a flyer on Amendola here and go from there. So I have around 12, 13, 14. I need a quarterback. I need... Ooh, I can't take any more bench spots. That's not good. It's forcing me to take quarterbacks and... Oh, shoot. Well, if that's the case, let's queue up the Ravens, because they're definitely going to have a great week 1 matchup. Kicker, I don't really care. Kickers, you generally want to take a home team that's favored. I grab Carolina. They're playing Dallas. Is that at Dallas, though? Panthers. So Cowboys at the Panthers. Graham Gano would be somebody that I'd be looking towards. Mason Crosby would be somebody I'm looking towards too, just because home favorites, you're more likely to settle for a field goal because you're going to be up already and you don't really need to push it to kind of make up any sort of scoring deficit that you're going to be in. Green Bay figures to be up by quite a bit against Chicago. Chicago did upgrade with the Khalil Mack pick, so that's something to keep in mind. Matt Prater versus the Jets might be a good pick. So we'll probably punt the kicker position and then try to draft the old Ravens defense. If that doesn't work, then we're going to go with the Saints defense against Tampa Bay. That's also a home game, I believe. Saints schedule. Yep, home game for them. So Ravens, Saints. If I can't get those guys, probably going to try to take Detroit. Carolina would be another one. Dallas, okay, but I think they don't really have a lot. Their offensive line lost Travis Frederick, so it won't be as good, and they might be more inclined to have Dak Prescott carry a workload, and he doesn't really have any weapons. Tight end, gone. Wide receivers suck. So what are they going to do? I don't think he's got solid people to throw to. It's going to be maybe a lot of turnovers for him because he kind of failed in that aspect last year when he was trying to do a lot for the team. He just kind of floundered. So Panthers could be a solid pickup too. But I think I'm going to go Ravens, Saints, Lions, and then Panthers as far as how I'd rank them going into week 1. We'll see how we fare there. But I did not know ESPN required you to actually draft some of these people. If that was the case, I probably wouldn't have taken Amendola this last round. I would have taken the Ravens defense just because they're going to score a lot of points week 1. Cross my fingers that it makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more picks, but I would highly doubt that considering what we got ahead of me. Has a defense. Has a defense. No defense. No defense. No defense. No defense. Defense. And no defense. So, yeah, I think safe to say the Ravens will be gone. Saints probably will be gone. At that point, I'll be looking at the Lions and hope for the best. Really sad that it's forcing me to pick people I have no option to draft flex positions. I can't even do it. Won't let me. All positions. Oh, maybe I can. Oh no, these are just quarterbacks, kickers, and defense. So that's really lame, ESPN. Why you gotta force us to draft kickers and defense? Whoa. Not cool. Quarterback. At the Raiders. Looking either at Mariota, Dalton, or Bortles. God, could I do that? Ugh. Probably looking at a Mariota or a Dalton as my week 1 starter, and then I'm going to start streaming dudes from there. Tyrod Taylor playing at Pittsburgh. No thanks, but I could see him getting 40, 50 rushing yards, which would be nice. I think I'll take a Mariota, however that's pronounced. And if he's not available, I'm going to take Dalton. So, if my Ravens defense is no longer there with this pick, then I will be taking a quarterback. I take that back. The Ravens isn't there, but the Saints defense is there. I'll probably be taking the Saints defense because Fitzpatrick's the dude that just chucks up the ball. And I could see there being quite a few turnovers there, but we'll find out. So far, so good. These guys, I think, already had defenses. Stotts, Schroeder, Wurlitzer, Portner, I think all did not have defenses. So, cross your fingers that the Ravens do fall to me because they could really put up some points week 1, which would help me. Worst case scenario, I'm going to have some running back capital that I can trade out and maybe grab a wide receiver at some point. I might even try to turn this Joe Mixon, Corey Davis combo. I'm not super high in Davis, but maybe I could do a Joe Mixon, Sammy Watkins combo and get a solid wide receiver 1 and a backup running back. I'm not sold on Joe Mixon either, but he's got a Indianapolis team in week 1. Hopefully he goes off in that week 1. I just certainly cut bait on him then because I'd still have Barkley and Freeman, who I believe are really solid running backs year long, and I have James White, who I think is going to be really good early on as well. So I could get a backup receiver or a backup running back, or maybe trade for Ingram, week 2, give that guy Joe Mixon, and make one of my wide receivers if Joe Mixon has a good week, and then get Ingram, who I think is going to be a better player than Mixon when he comes back, regardless, and then be able to get a wide receiver 1 in return. Let's see who has Ingram anyway. Team Wurlitzer. Got Marquise Edelman. Jesus. Seriously? That guy's terrible. Edelman's not even around. Oh, man. Oh, and the Jordan Reed. Good luck with that team, buddy. Aaron Jones. He's got the all-suspended team. Jeez Louise, man. Is he auto-drafting? Oh, glad that is not my team. Well, scratch that strategy, I guess. Rolling with my homies. Oh, sniped! 3 picks ahead of me. Guess we'll go for Saints. Mariota or Dalton. My punt play would either be Blake Bortles or Sam Bradford. Or Tyrod Taylor would be my 3. the Saints have week 2? Oh, Saints and then Browns. All right, might not be too bad. Yeah, we're gonna call quarterback next. Kickers, don't really care. I can grab any of these dudes. Crosby. Be somebody. Crosby, Prater. The guys I'll be targeting. Randy Bullock, potentially. Yep. Now we have to make a decision. Who do we want to start week 1? Mariota against Miami at Miami. They haven't looked good in the preseason. Or do I go Andy Dalton at Indianapolis? Let's look at the lines, Vegas lines. What do they got? Indy and Cincy. 50 points. Rams and Oakland. Damn. 46. Tampa and New Orleans 52. Wow. 47. So that or Miami, Tennessee. 46 and a half. A little bit better odds for a high game there. Can see that developing. Dalton's actually pretty solid at getting a rushing touchdown every now and then too. So who do I trust more with their week 1 matchup? Probably Andy Dalton against a terrible Indianapolis defense. Could see AJ Green getting loose for a long bomb. Panthers. He also does have his red zone weapons back for Andy Dalton, and we'll finish with the kicker because that's what we're forced to do. Matt Prater would probably be the number 1 pick. Crosby number 2, Graham Gano number 3, and we'll hopefully get one of those 3. All those guys have home games and are favored. Detroit, Green Bay, and Carolina. Detroit 6.5 point favorites. Green Bay 9-point favorites. And Carolina 2.5 point favorites. That's bound to be a little bit closer, according to that. But we'll go Green Bay's. Detroit, I think it's got less firepower there to be scoring touchdowns, as I was talking about earlier with losing Ebron. They don't really have a red zone threat there outside of Marvin Jones. Maybe Galladay, but their tight ends, I think, are pretty weak, so I'll probably go with him. I don't think they have enough firepower necessarily to punch it in. They do have, what is his name? Power back that went there. Blount. LeGarrette Blount, but that's only if it's real close goal line stuff. So I think we're going to go Matt Prater if he's available. If he's not, we'll probably... do we go Graham Gano? He's really good. It's going to be a little bit closer matchup. Green Bay, I could see putting up a ton of points and being up and them settling. I don't know. It'll be a coin toss between Crosby and Gano. Probably lean more towards Crosby. What did they have in 2017? Gano 130. Crosby only scored 80, but they had a bad offense last year. 156. Butker 146. Prater. Gold. Not against the Vikes, buddy. Fat chance. So we'll see what comes around to me. I got a long ways to go before I get that pick. So how many of these Nugganuches have? Yeah, there goes Crosby. So it's all these people, Schroeder, Werlicher, all these people. So they do not have a kicker. They do not. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them do not have a kicker. Well, these two might not be there. Then we'll be looking at Butker, who's home over there. Kansas City or Los Angeles is the home team. I could take the Chargers kicker. I could see them being up big in this game just because they got a lot better defense. Kansas City's defense I don't think is going to be that good. So Caleb Sturgis might be somebody that I would take. Yeah, very interesting when it forces you to draft what you need to fill anyway. So here's my starting roster. We're going to have Andy Dalton to start the season. We're streaming quarterbacks this year. For those of you who aren't aware, you can basically stream a quarterback every year. You just play the matchups. At least for like the last 5 years or so, there's been a minimum of 40 quarterbacks that have finished with a top 12 performance for the week. So there's 32 NFL teams, 40 quarterbacks plus have finished inside the top 12 for the week, which tells you that you can stream quarterbacks provided they have a good matchup. Indy defense, terrible. You got a backup quarterback going against Indy defense. You can start them. You can stream them. That's what I'm doing with Andy Dalton. They're playing at Indianapolis, and it definitely could end up in a shootout. Andy Dalton, I figure, is going to have a pretty decent shot at getting a lot of points there. Do they have a workhorse running back? They have Mixon, but guess what? Mixon's also a pass-catching back. Gio Bernard's a pass-catching back. If they score 4 or 5 touchdowns, I wouldn't be surprised if none of them are rushing, and the 2-3 running back scores are through the air. So Dalton could be having a massive week 1 against Indianapolis, which would be great for me. And then I'll just figure out who to stream, next week. So Dalton is not a year-long quarterback guy at all. So he's my starting quarterback week 1. He's not going to be week 2 unless they have a really crummy matchup against a bad defense in week 2. Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon as my running back 1 and running back 2. Golden Tate and Corey Davis as my starting wide receivers. Those look terrible because I went running back with the first three picks of the draft. It's 14 teams. I wanted to shore up those running backs immediately because there is a lot of wide receiver depth within the National Football League, and you can get guys late that are going to perform just as good as a Corey Davis does if he has a bad year. If he gets to 60 catches and 600 yards and 4 touchdowns, there's a lot of guys late that can give you that sort of production. So the reason that my wide receivers look so poor is because I got those running backs early and kind of assumed I could find some quality wide receiver play. They might not be wide receiver ones, but that's fine. I got Golden Tate to be safe. As I said before, I don't think they have a red zone threat, so I think Golden Tate, you might see 8 to 10 touchdowns this year from him just because they don't have any other red zone options. And that could be a nice added benefit there, because that's the big thing with him is he gets close to 100 receptions, close to 1,000 yards every year, but he's got like 3 or 4 touchdowns. Bump that up to 9, 8, maybe even double-digit touchdowns, and you're looking at Golden Tate's top 10 receiver this year. His partner in crime last year, Marvin Jones Jr., he had 9, 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. He was actually top 10 receiver last year, so a little extra more touchdowns for Golden Tate, and you could be looking at a really solid year there. So that's why I picked him with my first pick. I took the upside potential with Corey Davis as my second wide receiver, filled in the depth with Sammy Watkins and DJ Moore and Danny Amendola. DJ Moore and Amendola, I figure, are going to get consistent workload. So if needed, if one of these guys is a bust or they get injured, I have somebody that can fill in. And Watkins is another, lot of talent there, but I don't know how much volume he's going to get in Kansas City with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and the running back there. So he could be a bust. He could end up really good, especially if a Tyreek Hill or Kelce gets injured. Sammy Watkins would be probably heavily leaned on, and then you can't really count on that, but he has my wide receiver depth along with those DJ Moore and Amendola picks. Just wanted to round that out considering I took wide receivers so late in this draft. Trey Burton as my tight end. I think he's going to be good the entire year. I think he's top 5 tight end to finish. Would not be surprised if he's around, what do I have, Graham Gano, Caleb Sturgis. Looks like my other 2 kickers that I had in my queue are gone, so I'm going to take Graham Gano, week 1. Streaming kicker as well, but that's my pick. Playing Dallas, not particularly a high score, but they're a home team. They're favored, and in general, favored home teams, kickers perform significantly better than the away teams that are not favored to win, because those guys are either struggling to score points or they're behind in the game and they're trying to score touchdowns and push the pace rather than settling for field goals if they're already up. So got him. So the Trey Burton at tight end. Royce Freeman, my flex spot there, really solid. I actually think he's going to have a better year than Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, the higher draft capital, but I knew Freeman would come back to me, just the way that the draft was going at the time and how many people had a couple running backs already. So I felt comfortable drafting Mixon and then trying to grab Royce Freeman there as my flex. So I'm really happy with my running back depth, and then I did grab Kerryon Johnson and James White in case I have an injury or two, and to fill in this week 9 bye week that I have. Kerryon Johnson by week 9 I think is going to be just right up there with the Freeman. He's going to be maintaining most of the workload there in Detroit. And then James White, somebody that's going to go off, I believe, in these first 4 weeks with Edelman out. He's going to be huge, maybe week 2, week 3, after he's already had a bunch of solid weeks. I could package James White and hopefully one of these other guys that pops off, and then I could package him for maybe a little bit better receiver if Corey Davis or Sammy Watkins and those guys don't really pan out. So That's my draft, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments about what I did. It's 14-team league, so it's kind of why it looks so poor and why my running backs were selected so early. I wanted to get those shored up. Running backs do get hurt quite often, and in case any of those guys happens to be a bust, I think I'm a little bit better with Barkley, Mixon, and Freeman. Let's cross our fingers that they happen to do something, but Barkley, rookie. Freeman, rookie. Kerryon Johnson, rookie. Joe Mixon, rookie last year. So I went young on the old running back depth. And then I'm going to stream the quarterback. I'm going to stream my defense. I'm going to stream my kicker. So my draft is complete. Share your top pick. That's the team, guys. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching the stream. I did take off of work a little bit to take an extended lunch to get this done, so I gotta get going. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I do this in real life stuff for fantasy football. I'll be doing that more often now, and then I'm streaming with my buddies on Xbox Live every so often as well. It's not so much hardcore gaming, but it is kind of entertainment about talking about whatever we talk about on there. So certainly subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.